recording, and we're good to go. All right.
Alrighty. We find ourselves back in the jungle of the Congo, I believe with the catchphrase, so, do you want to join a war?
What's for?
Just the greatest, and by greatest I mean most terrible war of history. The Great War.
If it is terrible, why call it Great War?
Because of its size.
Sure.
Oh, that was a lot easier than I expected. Also, this is what a jungle is.
It is hot and damp.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I know, because I know the temperature was pretty cold around the pyramid. Has that changed now that it's gone?
Yes, since it is left, it started warming up. The humidity was always bad, but it has quickly started warming up, yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
It was much better in the pyramid.
I don't expect to get dry anytime soon. Yeah, well, now we have to find a way out of here.
Which is an interesting point. So, you, as part of your mission, it was very open-ended, both in how long you were it was going to take to get there, because you did go from, in the course of like a month, Scotland to the Congo rainforest. And getting back is kind of not a guaranteed timeline by any means. So you were given as like a portion of your assignment of list of both like rendezvous options of like things that they were fairly confident you could use as a way, and timelines relevant to that. So what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to have one. Actually, I guess you were the only one who was originally issued the mission, so I'm going to have you roll me a D100, Zach, because you know how much I love tables.
Oh yeah. That'd be an 83.
83. All right.
Solid number.
Okay, so
Nice and polished, I think.
Yeah, there was a within the next like week there is a civilian what is the word I'm looking for? A civilian vessel is going to be leaving a town that's within a week's journey from you right now, and you think that is going to be your best option to leave. You think you can probably get. It's not a big. It's like a small. It's a small village, really, but you think you can get to it in about a day and a half.
Okay.
Maybe a day if you guys rush and do do some constitution checks to do a real forced march.
I don't want to do that to Lefty and Reginald.
It also is left kind of unclear on what the vessel is. You just know that it's called the Grand Jubilee.
Okay. I've got a bad feeling that this is a historical ship that gets sunk by...
That name, it sounds like just familiar enough to be a real thing.
I know, it's realistic enough to think oh, that's an actual ship that may have gotten blown up.
Search might not come up with anything.
There you go. No, I'm not going to meta right now. You know, because I'm recording, and you know, it would be, I wouldn't be able to hide it.
Oh.
Well, because we're all at our camp at this point, if I remember right, correct?
Correct.
With the odd and the carriages and the giant
Yes.
boxes. Well, I'm thinking our mission is about as complete as it's ever going to get. It's time to start making our way back to Scotland. If I remember correctly, there's a ship leaving from a town nearby that should be able to get us there. The Grand Jubilee, I think it was called. And I imagine we have maps, so I've like pulled out a map.
Yes.
Like, you know,
Yeah, you have two sets of maps. So you were given a map from when you left the fort in Scotland, and you also the Lord Commander of the invading Fox army also gave you a map.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
I think from where we are, it looks to be about a day and a half of travel, but we could slim it down if we need to. Although I don't see a need to rush. We are going to think about, this will be a civilian vessel, so we're going to have to think about how we are going to not appear out of place. I can do that easily enough, but I'm more concerned about...
I'm gonna kind of look down at my 6'5" self.
I'm mostly concerned about the giant foxes, actually.
Yeah, everyone else either looks human, can look like an inanimate object, or can shapeshift into a human.
So the plan is, actually, I should...
You mentioned a mission?
Yes, our mission was to investigate the Black Pyramid, and disable it, capture it, whatever we were able to do. Mission parameters are usually quite vague for the SRD. That kind of, there's a problem, go deal with it kind of situation.
So it is the SRD?
Well, officially, it is the Special Resources Division. But, unofficially, welcome to the Strange Rejects Division.
Thank you.
A pseudo-military unit dedicated to fighting the war on any front that it may find. Otherworldly, usually otherworldly, magical, is what we specialize in.
So you often deal with extraplanar invasions?
No, that's just the flavor of this mission. Heard about another mission that went pretty poorly in France. They had something about the dream world bleeding into the real world. Some nightmares showed up, killed a bunch of people. It was good.
That sounds bad.
Most of the team didn't make it out.
Did they fix it?
No.
Maybe we should do that.
It's not really something to fix. Those nightmares have gone off somewhere.
So it sounds problematic.
That's not the only thing that's happened. You'll learn more when we get back to Scotland.
There is the plane traveling city made entirely out of adamantine that's just sitting in your harbor.
Yep. There's the trench mist that escaped after it, did a breakout.
Yeah, your guys' last team before the TPK, or almost full TPK, had a few real big losses under its belt.
Oh, all of that. I mean, your Sir Landon will answer your questions better than I can, and you're human, so he'll probably actually be nice about it.
Odd leans forward while she sips his tea. He's a racist prick, but he'll be polite about it.
Usually.
Good to know.
I mean, you are human, right? You look human. But again, and I'm just gonna, at will, basically change my form to look like a human. But then again, I also look human.
I will point out that my character has glowing teal eyes.
That could just be magic, though.
Mm-hmm. I was blessed by the Bifrost when I was born. But I am human.
Oh, see, okay, yeah. You've got nothing to worry about. I'm sure he'll love you.
In that case, you are free to continue talking. Would you like to set a rotation of guards for the night before your rest, or would you like to start traveling now and not take your night's rest?
Is it night right now? Evening right now?
It's not quite night yet, but you have not rested since going through the pyramid.
Yeah.
So, kind of your call.
I say let's get a nice night's rest under our belt before we start traveling. Moving through the jungle with a carriage and horses is not the easiest thing. Hopefully
it will be nice not sleeping in a cell.
Yes, I'm sure that would be very nice. I do think we should keep some guards, though. There's some unsightly reptilian creatures that are being ridden by mechanical monkeys, so they're unaccounted for still. I don't know if the pyramid disappearing has any effect on them, but better safe than sorry.
So you guys set up for the night. You've eaten. Who would like to take the first watch? Remembering that Odd can take the last half of the night entirely by herself if you guys so choose.
I thought for sure I had Tiny Hut, but apparently
I will take the first watch.
No. I'll take second.
Okay. Then, if we're not doing anyone else, Odd will take 3 and 4.
Okay. And we're trying to keep our campsite discreet. So.
All right. So we'll do a group stealth check then.
Man, I load roll. I only got a 30 for stealth.
Darn.
20.
20.
Nice.
And then could you roll for Makani as well?
Let me actually pull up her character sheet for reals. She got a natural 16, which is going to be a 26 for her, but also a 36 or like 46 because she is gonna appear as stone.
Right, she's gonna pretend to be a inanimate statue in the middle of the forest.
Yep.
All right.
And do a dang good job, too.
All right. Make me a perception check for the first round of watch, please.
Oh, gosh, that's a natural 4. 18.
18. fucking monks. You stay your watch. Your eyes like rose around. Nothing finds you. You do, however, there are a few times when a shadow of a gargantuan creature flies over your campsite.
Okay.
And it appears to have been circling, but it doesn't come closer and it doesn't make any noise. And near the end of your watch, the shadow doesn't come back.
All right.
Big thing up in the air?
Yes. So over the course of his watch, a large gargantuan shadow circled above the campsite, but never came close and never made any sign that it noticed.
Okay.
Could you roll me a perception check for your second watch?
Natural 20.
Hell,
Oh my gosh.
Total is, if I can open it, total is a 32.
32. All right. You do notice that less frequently than was seen by Ólafur. Almost called him Oscar.
Oscar.
That is a different character in this universe.
It's closest in pronunciation to Ólafur.
Yeah, Ólafur. There is a giant shadow that like circles every once in a while. But the main thing that you see is like frantically like moving through the forest is a group of 4 of Velociraptor riders, the cybernetic chimpanzees riding their cyborg Dionycuses. That was Dionycuses. There we go. And it looks like they are panicked, and they are like just like riding like kind of haphazardly through the forest, almost like they're looking for something.
How do you lose a giant black pyramid?
You know, it's really unclear.
We may have
But with that, your watch is relatively uneventful. You wake up Odd for her watch. Okay. And then again, you guys wake up in the morning. Odd has, of course, out of her bag of holding, has pulled out one of her pre-prepared breakfasts, one of the month's worth of hot breakfasts that she has pre-prepared for this mission. Her bag of holding exclusively has food and medical supplies. It is a purse.
Oh, I kind of pictured it as like a big carpet bag, like Mary Poppins style.
Ooh, it's kind of the same vibe, yeah. I guess that's not true. She has a couple other things in there that are medical supplies or food, but those aren't relevant.
Yarn.
Yes, she does have yarn in there. So I think she'll pull out. Probably easiest is with like a small fire to boil some water and do oatmeal with fresh berries and nuts. Because all of you are omnivores, we did confirm that.
Yes.
So something filling out on the way, enough for everybody, including the 2 Clydesdale-sized foxes. And you begin on your way. So you'll take your day of travel. We're going to split this up into 2. Oh,
shoot. Come on, computer.
Normal pace. And are you actively like on the carriages setting guards?
Hold on, you're gonna have to say that again because I froze.
No worries. So we're going to split this up into half days in terms of roles. But what I need to know is, are you guys planning on being stealthy, which will reduce your speed? Are you planning on going normal speed, or planning to do a forced march? And are you planning on setting guards on top of the carriage?
While we're sitting around eating breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw them, Ólafur, odd, but I did notice that large reptile up in the air was still floating around, and our well, I don't know, they're called raptors. Our four reptilian friends and their ape riders were running around rather frantically throughout the forest. I'm not sure that our mission is fully completed just yet. I hate to leave loose ends, as it were. Any thoughts?
Go ahead. NPC voices are less important.
How would we fight giant bird?
You want to fight the giant bird?
I just said how.
How? Well, I'll fly up.
Yes.
I'll fly up there and I'll kill it.
You can fly?
Yes. Or Makani could fly. Save me a spell.
Maink raises his little hand and goes, Maink the Trox can turn into a creature that can fly.
Okay, so that seems like... Huh. Well, I could prepare enough of that spell to get everybody airborne who couldn't do it themselves.
I mean, I could teleport that, but then I would just fall down.
That wouldn't be very helpful. Mildly amusing, but not very helpful. Odd, were you going to say something?
Odd nod and says, we have about a week before our vessel, or this proposed vessel, leaves. It'll only take us a day and a half to get there. That does leave us some wiggle room to... how to put this delicately? Hunt down the robots and slaughter them?
That's the way to put it.
How long are we willing to commit to this venture?
Well, if we figure about a day and a half worth of travel, why don't we can commit 3 days.
Yeah.
Give ourselves plenty of buffer to get to the town, deal with any unforeseen problems that may arise, as I'm sure will happen. I think it will not be too difficult to lure them into something.
Also, I totally misspoke. I said 4 dinosaurs and riders. It was 3. That is an error on my end.
So one was missing.
Potentially. Everything else has come in multiples of 3, so...
Well, I thought there were 4 when we originally spotted them.
It's entirely possible that is in fact what I said.
Alright, it's 3. Well, we've proven that the chimpanzees themselves, the apes, are not too terribly difficult to deal with. The large bird is an unknown, and the reptiles, the other lizards, are also an unknown. It has been a long time since I made a pit trap for something. Here's a thought, and weigh in if you have different ideas. The large bird is fairly easy to see and therefore very easy to find. We can all fly up there and mob it. The lizards, with their apes, can move fairly quickly and stealthily through the jungle, so those we want to pull in. If we go back to the clearing, might be able to set some traps, have one of us in the clearing making noise, maybe light a fire so that there's light and smoke to hone in on, and then hopefully that is enough to bait them in.
Seems like a wonderful plan.
What kind of traps, though?
Do remember, in terms of resources, that Ink does have a burrowing speed.
He does. He does indeed. Very well. What if, Mink, you... I'm feeling like it's a shame to break the theme now, so we could make three pit trenches, so that the bait, Ólafur, you are protected from all sides. We don't know which direction they're going to come from. Mink can dig those, while myself and Makani will be fashioning stakes from nearby trees and branches, and we can plant those in the bottoms. Odd, do you think you can weave some convincing-looking covers for these trenches so that they don't see them until it's too late? What with fronds and grass and whatnot?
Perhaps. Let me think on it.
And Ólafur, you're fairly strong. It'd be much quicker for you to cut down and gather wood than any of us, except for maybe Mink, but he needs to dig.
I can handle that.
Well, it sounds like we have a plan for the day then. We need to move fast. There's no telling when they might re-enter the clearing.
Let's go then.
Let's start with gathering the materials we need before we dig the trenches, because that shouldn't take very long, unless I'm mistaken, Mink. And then that way the pitfalls come together quickly, without us having to loiter about in the clearing.
Ink will nod.
Which trees should I put down?
Just thin ones. Thin ones that could be used for a false floor, a false ground, and ones that could be used quickly turned into spears.
Should it be trees around here or trees closer to the clearing?
Well, we are fairly close to the clearing right now.
Oh, I mean, okay.
Yeah, I think we're like 100 yards or something from the clearing.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
I don't remember
That's not bad.
exactly, but it's something like that. Okay. Break.
All right.
Good.
I will
Go
just
team.
take my sword, walk over, and start slicing down some trees.
Okay. I want to have you make me a strength-based survival check.
Oh gosh. $21.
All right. You gather and successfully use your ludicrously big sword. Like profoundly, this is the kind of sword that would give Mad Jack, what's his face from actual World War I, a run for his money. McDougan, I think is his last name. I can't remember.
The guy that went into battle with the Claymore? The Scottish
Yes,
guy? Yeah.
And you think you've gathered enough wood that you can probably make these traps.
I'm picturing like a Norse Paul Bunyan, basically. Just
Not dissimilar. I mean, it is probably the closest you're gonna get. Yeah.
You know, giant greatsword instead of, big axe, but just
Of course.
just gliding through the trees, not even stopping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like scything wheat, really. Yeah, you get it all set up, which in that case will mean that between that and sharpening stuff into spikes and pits,
I was gonna sharpen stuff while he was cutting things. I'm not
Perfect.
I'm not
Then-
strong enough to really be hacking through a bunch of trees, but my sword is.
I will let you know the entire time you are whittling these things, the sword will be complaining that this is unworthy of his and your talents.
Stop it. What if I were to tell you right now, you, a weapon, are making other weapons for killing our enemies?
I need no weapons to kill my enemies. I am a sword, an agent of destruction, the purest form of entropy on this material plane. We shall destroy all that we touch.
Sable, will you stop complaining if I promise we'll find some ducks?
Like really cute ones?
Like cute Congo ducks, if we can find them.
Okay, but you promised.
I promise.
Oh.
Okay.
Nothing says world-ending sort of Armageddon like its love for ducks.
Completely irrational love, more obsession with ducks and the feeding of ducks.
Their feet are so cute.
Yes, and their little beaks.
You've got to stop complaining about the whittling. It is now just talking about ducks. So it's
I don't know if
trade-off.
this is better, but at least it's not yelling.
And you said your sword was better.
Oh, it is.
All right. With that, I mean, Odd is going.
I guess Makani doesn't have anything to sharpen stakes with, so if she can while I guess while we're while she's she can be stripping the trees and basically handing the poles to me and I'm sharpening them, and then she's taking those leaves and fronds and stuff to Odd so that she can start making a false floor.
Yes. And Odd, which is super a very high level of efficiency with her natural 20, just fully just weaves this into just this immaculate knitted palm frond mats.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Incredible.
It's all coming together.
All right. Which then just leaves us. You guys make your way to the clearing. I'm gonna need group stealth check again. Odd is not coming with you. He life links with you guys and stays back with the carriage.
Yep. That would
28.
be a 41 for me and a 23 for Makani.
Okay. Okay. Noted. You make your way to the thing. There is a second where Mink goes in to dig and almost goes full Bugs Bunny plume of dirt to pull it up. But because he's the only one in the group who failed, you manage to stop him and get him on the right path. And then he goes underground and he begins digging the pit traps undergrounds from below up.
Okay.
So that he's pulling the dirt other places.
All right. And then once he has a trench finished, we'll hop down in there and start planting stakes.
So it does. The first trench happens, and you watch as the top of it just cracks, and then there's this cascading river as a side of a triangle appears, and then as you're putting those stakes in. Again and again, until you have 3 trenches hooked up in a triangular shape. It's not quite equilateral because my ink is not that good.
That's all right. Just has to work.
It's part of the charm. Yeah, you manage to get the spikes in. My ink helps you. You lay the mats over.
We'll retroactively say that there's a little walkway at one corner so that we don't have to risk jumping over these things.
Okay. So, big question, how wide do you want them? Do you want them just to be 5 foot square wide or bigger?
I say we go bigger.
Bigger.
Okay.
Those things are fast. I'd be worried that if they were too small, their momentum, if they're charging in, their momentum would just carry them over the trap. So I'd say
okay.
Yeah.
So 10 feet section then?
Yeah, let's go 10.
Okay. 10 feet wide on each side. I'm gonna say I gotta remember if that's actually a skill or if I am conflating totally something else in my head. My current level of addition bleed is really, really bad right now because I'm actively in the process of learning 2nd edition Pathfinder.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm finally reading through the book. Okay. It's just a different name than I remember. If someone has a disabled device skill, if you would like to roll to set the DC.
I have that.
All right. This is your trap. You have designed it. You've coordinated it. Roll to set the reflex DC for it.
I'm fairly confident that no one else can beat me on this. That would be a 33.
33. Swell. How deep did you want my ink to make this trench?
Just 5 feet is fine. You know, it's once they fall in, the stakes are what are going to keep them down there. It doesn't need to be.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be too deep.
Not 10?
Do we need 10? That's a lot of digging. Sure, I'll go 10. We're fine. Go big or go home, right? We'll go big and then we'll go home. And I guess it doesn't take too long because trucks can burrow. Or trucks. Mink can burrow. Mink the trucks can burrow.
Yes, you can.
Let's just make sure it works.
Okay. Just pulling up actual pit traps to make sure that I'm remembering all of this right. Okay. What is your disable device modifier, Corvus?
Plus 22.
Okay.
I figure we didn't have a rogue, and my dexterity is absurd. Someone needs to know how to disable device.
I don't get skill ranks really, so
I have 88 skill ranks.
I have 25.
Oh my gosh. You got 2 per level?
Like I have a -2 int modifier.
You
And I
get
got 4 plus int.
per level.
Oh no, that's awful. That's
So I got 2
terrible. I
per
don't.
level. And then first level I didn't get any because I got 2 plus int. So I got 0 at first level.
Yeah. So here's like my. It doesn't even matter. Like I don't think Swashbuckler or Magus. Maybe Swashbuckler probably gets a fair amount of skill points, but Magus I don't think does. The problem is, well, the big thing is that I have a +7 intelligence modifier. So.
Yeah.
So it's like.
It compensates.
Here, have skill points. Oh, thanks.
All right. Well, in that case, anyone who is not going to be bait will stealth for me. This is not a group stealth check. This is an individual stealth check.
Not so great. Makani got a 17. I got a 27.
Okay. Duly noted. All right. Ólafur, you have found yourself in the center of this triangular pit trap. How are you going to attract the attention of things?
I'm just gonna start calling out. Come on, you metal lizards.
Oh, I think. Well, we were also gonna have like a.
Come and get your punch.
Like a fire.
You know you want it.
If they're far away.
All right. Roll me your option of.
First off, I would also like to say that I have planted my sword in the ground and I am standing on top of the hilt. Balancing.
Let me real quick. I need to prepare my spells real quick for the day.
I technically should as well, but they're not going to matter. I would like to cast some spells though, like as I'm
absolutely
as I'm being bait.
I'm also going to say your choice on performance, oratory, intimidation, diplomacy, or bluff to get people's attention.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
We're gonna go with diplomacy.
Diplomacy, absolutely. They're all overlapping skills for this specific type of use.
So the diplomacy is a 22.
22. Okay.
I would like to cast a few spells, though. Namely, Long Strider.
Fuck yeah.
Okay, I managed to find a post-it note.
Bark Skin.
Okay.
And then, when I first, like... When I see them, and they start to, like, approach, I'm gonna cast another spell, but I'm gonna wait until they're actually there for that.
Absolutely. All right. So, congratulations, you beat the passive perception on all of the creatures.
Hell yeah.
So there is a so let me
What spells did you cast on yourself?
Bark Skin and Long Strider.
Oh, who am I kidding? I'm just going to prepare 6 shocking grasps. There's literally no reason for me to do anything other than that.
All right. So bursting through one side of the 6 Dionycuses and chimpanzees in a group come charging out. They are going to eyeball you, and they're going to run straight for you. And none of them have the passive perception to notice the pit trap. The DC.
I'm going to cast Divine Power.
Fuck me. Okay. Gotcha. That is a 3rd level or below spell, right?
It is not. It's not actually a spell.
Right.
It is a power granted to me by my deity through my monkness.
Right. It's an invested regent.
It's an invested regent spell-like ability.
Which comes
Bark
from
Skin,
you,
by the way, is just a key power. So.
Yeah. Thus it comes from you, and thus it is bypassing my hamstringing of all external magic sources.
As will Divine Vessel at level 19.
I hate you. Double checking. Yep, okay. That's the spell I thought it was. Balls. Yeah, you are set up. They come charging. 6 of them come charging at you. Right, I'm making sure. Yep, that's the right number.
And then if I have the time, I'll also pop Key Leech.
No, they're fast enough that they're going to get to the pit trap before you have a chance. All right, so I got to roll 12d6s for the reflex saves.
I am going to...
We'll start with the raptors.
No, I guess I won't do anything. I don't really need to cast anything.
Boop, 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 boop. Oh fuck, who am I kidding? They all have to get natural 20s if they're gonna beat the DC. Nope, so none of the raptors beat the DC. Let's see if the chimps do. Okay, here's the brutal thing here. For the chimpanzees, even if they get a natural 20, they cannot beat the DC.
Oh man.
They're scouts. So 6 of them fully run in. Also, using the attack bonus for the spikes matching the bonus to your disabled device means that literally the spikes will always hit their AC. So we're gonna deal damage here. You know what? It is your trap. Roll me a 2d6 plus 5.
Okay.
And we're just gonna call that the flat damage that gets done to everybody.
Come on.
They have no resistances
Sixes.
to piercing and bludgeoning.
All right, got double 4s, so that'll be 13.
13. All right. Okay. All of the chimpanzee cyborgs die upon impact.
Oh no!
The raptors,
They were
the
tiny.
6 raptors, are impaled and in pain and are like flailing around, trying to get out.
I'm just gonna
And-
run up to the side of the trench where they are and just basically look down and be ready to kill something if it gets out.
This is not a proper combat, so feel free to just do things. I will
I'm
tell
just
you
gonna
what you need to get.
casually hop down from my sword and pull it out of the ground and walk over.
Well, I'd say that worked.
Okay.
What was that?
I'd say that worked.
I might have overprepared. You can see them kind of glowing with a rainbowish energy.
No worries. You stick with us, and you'll find a fight you need to have that for.
Ah.
And that's a guarantee. Okay. So, watching these poor these poor dinosaurs stuck in this pit trap.
Yeah, they don't look like they have any meaningful way to pull out. They do not have the strength to beat your DC. They do not have the reflex or escape artist capacity to break the entanglement. They are impaled. They are alive at 2/3 health, but they are incapable of removing themselves.
Okay. Man, I'm really kind of wishing that I had grease, so I could just grease and spark them. But
if it is a spell that you think that you can prepare normally, I will let you swap out.
oh no, it's not. I don't know that. I don't know grease. I'm not
Gotcha.
sure that sorcerers get it. Or it's not sorcerer. Sorry, Magus. I'm not sure that Magus is.
Magus.
Get it.
I could hop down there and finish them off.
No, don't. Just, it's fine. Scorching ray.
Maybe I could reach them with my sword?
I literally just pull out my sword and point it at them.
Okay.
Ólafur does a 28 hit.
28 hit me?
Yes.
No.
Phenomenal. God damn it, you both are dex fighters.
Well, no, he's strength.
You're not, but
He's
you are.
strength. Yeah.
He's strength, but he is a monk.
I have good dex. But also my wisdom gets added too.
Yeah.
Fucking monks.
Do you want to know what my AC is?
Yeah.
35.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is gross.
There is a half second where it feels like a cloud goes over the sun before the giant wing Quetzalcoatlus swoops down and just you feel like in the air you're thrumming with divine power, and you know enough to just lean down as giant claws swoop past you as this thing swoops back up into the air.
Perfect.
Question. I need to ask you a question, and this I guarantee you this will be relevant for more than just right now, but this is the first time it is relevant.
Gotcha.
So, In terms of teleporting, during a full round attack action, if I were to teleport, would I be able to make an attack in the air at the position of that teleport? And then theoretically teleport again?
I believe so. Do you not? I believe that is one of the feats in your chain that allows you to do something like that.
It allows me to do that. It doesn't specify that I can do it in the air, but I was wondering.
Remind me again which specific feat that is.
Dimensional Dervish.
Up to twice. Yeah, it's fucking teleporting. I don't see why not.
Yeah,
I don't believe Dimension Door has any specifications that you have to be able to stand where you teleport. It just has to be an unoccupied space.
In that case, I'd like to make a full attack action against this Quetzalcoatl using the teleports, like every teleport I can to reposition in the air around this thing, so that I don't like fall away from it and then just end back on the ground.
If you're going to use all of your attacks to get to it, you will end your round in the air.
Oh, how far away is it?
Currently,
it just swooped down.
So. Currently, it is only 25 feet up. Wait, hold on. No, that's not right.
If we're kind of doing
flyby attack is a charge.
If we're doing this a little hodgepodge,
I believe,
like not hodgepodge, just kind of havoc here. No turns, pure anarchy. I'm gonna, Makani, could you quickly deal with them? Could you quickly deal with them in the pit? And then I am going to cast Fly.
Yes.
On myself. And then
Zach, you're still muted.
Oh shoot! Dang it! I had to mute it because there were children crying in the background. You know, because of Noah's monk fighter. So I was saying, since we're doing this kind of no rules, you know, full anarchy, I'm gonna, Makani, could you please deal with the raptors in the pit, the lizards in the pit, real quick, and then I'm going to cast Fly on myself. I'm gonna, you know, pull back that Scorching Ray, not finish that, you know, because obviously we have bigger fish to fry. Cast Fly on myself. And then at the first chance that I get, I'm going to be like following the bird. And hopefully that path takes me near Ólafur, near enough to also cast Fly on him. But
okay, so it is, I checked, Flyby allows it to charge while flying.
So how far away is it?
So it is 60 feet up in the air right now.
Not a problem. I get 160 feet of teleportation. My move speed is 80.
Yes.
So,
that's absurd.
Yeah, so yeah, I will teleport the 60 feet to it, make my first attack, teleport 5 feet, make the second, teleport 5 feet, third, like just over and over, like blitzing like around this thing, like encircling it basically. And then with
I'm gonna roll for
Makani 7 attacks. That's 7 times. Okay, so 60 plus 35 is that gives me another 60 to get back down to the ground.
Okay.
So, all right. Time to make these attack rolls. I've been wanting to do this for so long. Okay. Do you want me to roll? Okay, do you want me to roll the attack, then roll the damage, and then roll the attack, then roll the damage? Do you want me to roll all the attacks, and then roll the damage for that?
Dealer's choice, just let me know what you do.
Okay. I'm going to roll all the attacks, figure out how many of them hit, and then roll the damage for those.
Okay.
So, first attack. Does a 37 hit?
Yes, a 37 does hit.
Okay. That is 40.
That'll also hit.
That is a 35.
That'll also hit.
Okay. That's another 35.
That'll hit.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. And then I am spending a key point to get an additional attack in this flurry of blows. Ooh. That is a 27.
That'll hit.
Oh, okay. That was a natural 4.
Ooh.
30.
That'll hit.
And then my worst attack, the last of the bunch, 27.
27 will hit.
Jeez, man.
All right. So that's 7 attacks.
I am going to have you roll me each attack separately, just so I can factor in.
I don't have enough d6s to roll it all together. So. Okay.
You'd have to go raid a Warhammer 40k game to get that many.
I know. Well, the thing is, I went to a dice shop with the sole intention of buying a load of d6s, and they didn't have any. Like I had to sweet talk the dude into selling me like a reference set that he had on display, to get some. It was just like, oh.
Using that diplomacy skill.
Yep. Okay, so that's 18 plus 29 is... Gosh, I haven't had to do this much math in a while.
That's
47? 47? Okay, so that's 47 on the first.
Okay. You flash out, your blade connect, and you watch as on the intersecting plane of your sword, you watch as like spiraling sigils of like a rainbow cascade of triangles appear, just slightly offset from the skin of the Quetzalcoatlus. And you watch as it flashes down, and like the light kind of like dissipates around it. The skin is unbroken on the Quetzalcoatlus. Continue with your damages.
Okay.
How much damage was in that strike?
That first one was a 47.
47.
47 damage? Oh my gosh.
It's a profoundly large sword that may or may not have the impacting magical quality to it.
Oh no.
Yep. And, oh yeah, I should also mention that you watched this sword double in size in his hand.
Oh no.
Gosh, this table is too bouncy. Uh, 25 plus 29 is 54.
Okay. Again, you bring the blade down and it connects with a force wrapped around it. It does appear, the lights do appear to be duller.
Okay. $27 plus 29 is
46. 56. I'm gonna have to start making things with more hit points.
Yeah.
25 plus 29 is 54. Yep. That's the fourth attack.
Up until this point, the light still exists as you connect
Okay.
with it. Duller each time.
$45.
All right. You connect through, and this time you feel like you're pushing through the barrier, and you watch as the light like crystallizes around your sword, very not dissimilar to like Saint Elmo's fire around it. And then there is a small like flash of light. You
The
make
phenomenon, not the movie, I'm assuming.
obviously.
Sorry, I have to.
Yeah,
we had to throw it back. No,
could
that
you
was
make
my
me
joke.
Oh wait, was it your?
That was my joke.
Was it yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
Was the whole thing, the whole line was you?
So I explained Mudrian, Justin's character, right? Her
Yes.
flame blade
Okay.
looked like Saint Elmo's fire, the phenomenon, not the movie.
Phenomenon, not
And then Jordan said something like said
Jordan's
something
adding
later
on to
that
it, okay.
that was like referencing
Yes.
back to it.
Yeah, the movie, not the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before you continue
Okay,
on
sorry.
with your damage, and I've tracked how many attacks you've rolled damage for so far,
Yes.
could you please make me a reflex save?
Yes, I can. Oh no.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
What?
A wild Jessica has appeared. Hello.
Or is
It's
it
21.
all of the kills?
21, you said?
21.
21. All right. The light.
If this is an AoE effect,
It is.
then even if I fail, I still only take half damage, and if I succeed, I negate.
Fucking mugs. You do not succeed.
Okay.
I don't have enough D6s.
That seems to be a common occurrence now.
Yeah. Corvus flying up, you are just outside of the radius of the shield's backlash. Let's see. It went down one round, so it went down the full 250, which means that's 10d6.
Oh boy.
17. Don't worry. I rolled like crap for 6 of them.
Oh boy. All 6s now.
So you're going to take 32 points of.
Is that already halved?
No, not halved. So halved to 16 points of positive energy damage, which does not heal you.
Yeah. No, I know.
So you'll take the damage as the shield explodes. And you are pushed back. It's not important because you're teleporting, but you are pushed back 10 feet before your next attack.
Okay. So that's an extra 10 feet of movement. That'll make it so that when I end this, I will be 5 feet above the ground and have to drop that 5 feet.
Okay. So continue on with your dimensional dervish.
Right. Yeah, 2 more attacks, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got
7 total attacks.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I would like to. Well, I guess he's still making his attacks, so I'll hold off.
45.
Okay.
And then on this final attack.
That was damaged, yes.
he will like grab his sword like by the blade in one hand in kind of a half swording plunge, using the hammer strike technique to double the weapon damage dice.
Of course.
Wait. So are you Mordhauing this thing right now?
Yes.
I
So
mean, this sword's like
let's
fully
see,
the size of
that's-
a tree at this point. So you're just grabbing this thing and just, ugh.
Size for a huge creature right now, yeah. It's a huge creature's greatsword at its current size.
So nasty. Oh, Noah's frozen for me.
78 damage.
Jeez.
78 damage. Alright, you do your last one. You plunge in, you flicker away, you're 5 feet above the ground now. Roll me a flat intelligence check, please, for
Okay.
geographical awareness.
Shit. 12.
And you immediately fall through one of the pit traps that you guys made. Make me a reflex save. DC is 32.
Do I get anything against traps?
That is fantastic.
Evasion
I
doesn't
rolled
work on traps.
2 ones on the damage so far.
Okay. That's not going to pass. My saves are shit. So that's a 20.
Okay, I roll a natural 20 on the attacks for the spikes.
Yes.
Critical success.
Critical,
Oh.
critical hit on my beautiful traps.
Attack of 42.
42 damage?
No.
42 attacks.
So
an
you're gonna
attack
take
of 42.
you're gonna take 2 points of fall damage because I rolled 2 ones on that. And you didn't make. Oh wait. Yeah, you only made the pits 10 feet. And then you are going to take 12 points of piercing damage from the spike.
Okay.
Ólafur, are you okay?
Pathfinder character.
Been better.
Corvus, the creature is still flying. It is bloodied.
Can I roll for initiative?
We're
We're
doing
not.
just kind of like loosey.
Yeah, we're not even in initiative. I did ask Makani to real quick kill the raptors that were still alive inside the spike trap.
There are 6 of them currently.
Three.
No, 6 total raptors rode in.
Oh. Only 3 head
There's
riders.
6 chimpanzees rolled in. All the chimpanzees died. All 6 of the raptors are still alive.
Yeah, see that I would have burned through. I would have had to have used a lightning bolt and both of my scorching rays to kill them without going down there. So if you can take care of that, that'd be great. I'm flying.
How many things are up there?
Just the one.
Great. I'll take care of these 6.
Then I'm gonna.
She will do that.
I'm going to cast Shocking Grasp, and I'm gonna fly after this bird. I believe I have a fly speed of 60.
Absolutely.
60 feet. Yeah, 60 feet because I do not wear armor. And then I'm going to attack it. For the love of all that is good in this world, please give me the critical. Of course. I roll a freaking natural 4. I have a crit range a mile wide and I keep rolling below a 10. It's still hit. It's a 28
What
to
dice
hit.
are you using?
My metal ones.
That'll hit.
I feel like you're GM next. You work great when you're the GM.
Yeah, evidently not when I'm a player. So sword damage first. Wow, nice. Rolled a 6 on that. So 18 slashing from the sword, and then I need to roll all of the dice for Shocking Grasp. I think it's 5d6. Yep, 5. There's nice. Okay, so an even total, so 20 damage from Shocking Grasp.
All right. You're flying up in the air. How would you like to kill this creature?
Yes.
Ayo.
I'm like, I want to make this as dramatic as possible. I'm talking like Gandalf fighting the Balrog as it's falling into the water. Like, you know, I'm on it and I'm like lightning stab it in the chest and like, you know, lightning everywhere, and then ride it as it goes down.
Yeah.
And then use, you know, fly to not take any damage from it. But
Yeah. So up, slash, just a burst of electricity out from this creature who is vulnerable to electricity. As are all of the cyborgs.
what a happy
Wait,
coincidence.
I should have been using that this whole time. That makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Happy coincidence.
Almost like a full blast of lightning out of its wings as you fall down to the ground. Roll me a flat D20 luck check.
A 3. Man, these dice are mean to me right now.
3.
Jeez.
I was rolling great before combat, making the traps, doing all the stealth. It was.
Roll me a reflex save for Makani.
Oh, what are you doing,
Okay.
computer? Your reflex save. Do you have your character sheet?
I got it. I got
Okay.
it. Zach, will you roll for me? Roll the d20, and it's plus 20.
I got an 8, so 28.
28.
28. All right.
Oh
You're going to take half damage if the creature falls on you.
Not again. Not again.
Again? It fell on me before?
No, this is the second time I've killed a giant bird and had it fall on a party member.
Oh.
You remember
right,
what happened
right.
to Jacob?
Scarecrow. Yes, I do. I think I have a lot of hit points.
Technically, you did the same thing with the Wyvern with the last SRD team, too.
Third time pays for all.
I want to pull that there.
Every time.
Suddenly very glad I'm in the trench.
Who did that land on before in the Wyvern? Did it land on Florida?
It landed on
It landed in
Marcus.
Florida, yeah.
I thought it landed on Marcus.
Oh, Florida.
Oh, Florida. No, she was already
No,
dead.
wait,
It doesn't
Florida.
count.
Marcus.
Shoot. Yeah. Oh, Marcus, yeah.
Yeah, so...
This isn't good.
You are going to take 8 points of bludgeoning damage. That's the halved amount. I did not roll well on fall damage again.
Oh,
And he only fell 60 feet.
I fell or it fell?
It fell.
Okay, I was like, I never fall. Unless there's an old person. Then that counts.
Yeah. With your blasts, though, prior to this, it would have been no problem to kill the raptors. They're not doing so hot right now, stuck on the spike trap.
How many blasts does she get per turn?
I believe
Shouldn't just be 1, right?
Oh,
Since I'm in the
I have
trench, I can just go
TikTok.
around and kill these without you guys
Ow.
wasting resources.
don't you dare. This is my job. I have one job.
I actually
Could I have a couple of them?
No. You got the No, this is my job.
I didn't
Corvus
get
is the
anything.
leader. He told
I
me
didn't get
to do
anything.
this. He told me. I haven't even killed one of them yet.
I'm going to kill at least one.
If I can get the
Corvus!
chance, I would like to float over and hit 2 of them with a scorching ray.
Justin, how long has Makani been over there? How many would you have gotten killed?
I believe you for sure have gotten one since you've been there. It's only been like a round of combat.
Oh, okay.
I'm double checking because I want to say.
I have rapid shot and mini shot, but that would be if I used a different weapon, not my knife.
Oh, I told you that I would allow. I don't remember whichever one allows you when you're doing a full attack to add another attack as a full round action.
Rapid shot. Mini shot specifies you have to have an arrow. So I think it was rapid shot.
Yeah, let's do 2 without taking any burn. You can also take 3 points of burn to cast another blast as a swift action using the Quicken meta magic or metakinesis. So I would let you, as the full round attack, do 3 blasts.
I will happily do that, yes.
Alright, so easy peasy. Their AC is kind of garbage. I'm pretty sure you can hit them regardless. 3 of them completely gone. Corvus, as you're flying down, what is your attack modifier for Scorching Ray? It's a touch attack, I'm assuming, yeah?
Yep, it's a +9. No, sorry,
You
a +20.
Oh, you literally have to roll a 1 to miss. Like, there is no opportunity. So, Scorching Ray is 2 beams, correct?
2 beams, 4d6 damage each. So I'll hit 2 different raptors.
Yeah. 46. Yeah, that's fine. The burning beams blast down in and light them on fire. No problem. Which will leave us with 1 raptor left.
Ólafur, this one's all yours.
Thank you.
I'll take it if you don't want it.
I would like it.
Ólafur, you pull yourself off of the wooden spike.
He's just been laying on his back with a spike through his leg this whole time.
Wow.
Also, I should mention, just to catch you up.
Yeah, where are we? What are we doing?
Well, yeah. So we were gonna leave. So we decided we're gonna take a civilian vessel from a town nearby. We're gonna take that back to Scotland. It's called the Grand Jubilee, I think, if I remember right.
Yes.
And that town, the ship leaves in a week. The town is only about a day and a half away. So we decided to spend this day. Because in the night we saw the Quetzalcoatlus was still up in the air, and we saw some raptors and apes still frolicking about in the woods. So Corvus didn't want to leave the job half done, so we decided we to set a trap, lure them in, and kind of deal with them, and tie up all the loose ends.
And so far, it's going swimmingly.
That's pretty good. That's great.
I should also mention. My sword has now grown to twice the size you saw it the first time.
What?
Oh yeah, it's yeah.
Has its weight changed?
He's basically swinging
Nope.
around a tree.
Nice.
Yeah, it is currently sized for a huge creature. It is dealing the damage of a gargantuan.
Yes.
So, you know.
We're going to talk about that when we're done here.
Conservation of mass means nothing.
So good.
I will walk over to this final lizard, meditate for a few seconds, activating Key Leech, and then just chop its head off.
Easy peasy. You literally would have to roll 6 ones on your. I don't even think you have a plus 25 to your damage.
It's a plus 23 to hit.
23, but your
The damage.
for your damage roll.
Oh, damage, it's plus 29.
Plus, yeah, you literally cannot deal less damage than its hit points, and it is currently restrained because it's impaled on spikes. So you just fully up and just bisect this creature in a spray of sparks, wires, and viscera.
Yay! Look at that, Ólafur.
So that's
Your first enemy
3
dispatched.
to 2 to
I feel like I should get some credit for the bird.
Ólafur and Makani, you guys get 5 hit points back because of your life link with Odd.
Wait,
Which basically
who gets 5 hit points back?
you do, and Makani does because both of you are below 5 below your maximum hit point. So Odd has the Oracle Revelation life link, which lets her link her life to yours. So whenever you have life link and you have more than 5 hit points missing, you start your round by getting 5 hit points back and dealing 5 hit points of damage to Odd.
Have you met Odd yet?
He has.
Yeah,
She made food.
it was great.
I just want to make sure, real quick. Corvus, can you give us the count, please?
For this fight or for the entire mission?
For the entire mission.
I believe, let's see, I
It was
was at,
34 to 31 to 27
it looks like
yesterday.
37 to 34 to 27 to 1.
I feel like I should get some credit for the bird.
Oh no, we did
Yeah,
get the
good,
one,
good
right?
job. But only the killing
Thank you.
blow counts.
No, that's fine, just as long as I have some credit.
You got the raptor.
Bird was more impressive.
That was some fine work. Can I hold your sword again? That it really needs a name. I don't like it calling it sword.
It needs to earn a name first.
Yes, I'm aware. Can I hold it, please?
Sure. We'll just one hand proffer the sword.
Okay. And it doesn't feel any different than the last time I held it, right?
I mean, it's unwieldy because it's fucking huge, but currently has a right combination of magic attached to it. Any creature that can wield a medium-sized greatsword can wield it.
This is like your Cloud right now in Final Fantasy.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold the blade in front so that he doesn't see my face, and I'm going to whisper in Terran, "What is your name?" to the sword again.
Roll me diplomacy.
Okay, hang on.
Nat 20. Here we come.
Zach, I need you to roll
Oh,
it,
you need me to roll?
and then I'll tell you the mod.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm rolling the bronze one.
Oh, that's a good call. Yeah, that's actually smart.
13.
Okay, 12 total.
You think it might not be Terran. You're not quite sure.
It might not. No, I'm speaking to Terran. Wait, that it might not be Terran?
You don't know. It doesn't respond.
I will find out your name, and then I will find it back.
So you literally watch her hold the sword, like almost touching her face, and you hear like the crushing sounds of an earth elemental talking, and then it just hands the sword back to you.
It is my sword, no?
Yeah, it just needs the name.
It needs to earn one.
Yeah, it has a name. She's when it comes to this is the one thing that she will never be moved on. We've decided this already with Corvus' sword. This is the one thing that she will never not see through your eyes.
Inanimate objects must have names.
No swords.
I'm gonna take my sword out of its sheath. I'm gonna stand it, like stab it into the ground so it's standing upright, and then I'm going to step away from it, and I'm just going to say, that's a good thing Savle doesn't have eyes, otherwise he'd probably be somewhat jealous. And then I'll pick up my sword again and put it back in the sheath.
Master, why did you let me go?
I thought I saw a duck.
Did you catch it?
No, it wasn't a duck. It was just a large reptilian bird.
Oh.
The one that we just killed, remember?
Oh. I guess I could see it.
Corvus, who's talking to himself. Or is this telepathic?
Dealer's choice.
Nah, it's out loud.
Corvus, sorry.
It's out
That's
loud.
funny.
The sword's all telepathic.
I don't see any ducks anywhere.
This is the second time he's mentioned ducks today.
Well,
Look, I was just trying to feel out his sword because he has it changed. So maybe it speaks now. It does not.
Yes.
Well, it just didn't. Maybe it does. It just didn't.
towards Ólafur, you're not compensating for anything, right?
What do you mean?
That's a lot of compensation.
It's just a sword.
Never
It's
mind.
not just a sword, it's got a name!
I'm just like look around to Odd to Mink like, is anyone gonna... Nope, okay, just me.
No, Ink is currently in the process of like picking up the different like dinosaur heads and seeing if it can find anything. Because looting the body is something he, in theory, understands, but in practice, fully does not get what he's looking for.
So I imagine as he's like picking stuff up and tossing it aside, I'm just going through the pile of things he's tossed aside and actually pulling out useful things.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine him playing with them like toys because he's so big, like, rah, 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 you know?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Though it looks like
Why
we do
does
not
your-
need the 3 days for this extra roll.
Why does your sword do that? Is it gonna keep getting that? Like, is it every time that you fight, it's just gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger?
Oh no, I can only do this very rarely.
So is it gonna do it again, or is it gonna go like, is it like this forever?
No. It'll wear off soon.
You know, the funny thing is we could fully use your sword as a bridge right now.
Yeah.
What's that?
We could use his sword as a bridge.
Oh, as a bridge.
We just lay it down over the spike pits, walk across.
It definitely could get used as a ramp to get him out of the pit.
I am in the pit still.
Put the
Ólafur, do you want to
together.
come out of the pit?
Oh, sure. I'll just teleport out.
Whoa, how did you
I would
do
also
that?
say that I'm just kind of still floating in the sky.
Okay.
I have fly for 8 minutes.
Oh, I'm gonna fly up there with Corvus.
Let me have this, Makani.
What do you mean?
I'm enjoying being up here.
Yes, that's why I came up here to enjoy it with you. That's what friends do. We just
Apparently
look
I am
down
not
at
a friend because I cannot fly.
Like,
Friends
I
also
didn't say that.
friends
Wait,
are
did I
also
say that, Corvus?
competitive.
Corvus, did I say that we are not friends with him?
No.
I mean, I say stupid things a lot.
Wait, where would
so
you get
maybe
that idea from?
I don't know. He just said something about us not being friends because he's not flying. You can come up here.
I'm gonna be
Okay.
right
To the eye.
continue bantering.
I can't fly.
I mean, are you feeling left out right now?
You were like teleporting.
It's not really flying, it's more of the falling.
I'll swoop down and I'll cast fly on you. There.
Does that break your fly? Is
No.
Well, no.
Fly's not concentration.
He's still just standing there. What now?
Just fly.
You gotta jump, and then your body is going to just start moving.
Just jump
Got
and
her.
miss the ground.
He'll jump back into the spike pit.
Just
No,
like
use
will
your mind.
you will
Stupid.
yourself. You will yourself to go in directions.
You know how like you take a step and you like tell your legs to like move in front of you? It's like that. Tell yourself to,
I
like, move.
do not speak to my legs.
Think just think about going up into the air.
He'll like start like he'll just pause like completely like stony face and just start floating. And, like, freak
Unless
out
we
a
have
little bit.
slept, Makani has never touched the ground, by the way. So this is really hard for her.
We
to
did
try to
We did
swim.
sleep. We did sleep.
Okay. That's the only time that she's touched the ground. This whole time that you've met her.
No, that's it, Ólafur. Don't panic. Just gently will yourself to
This
float
is a
up.
very weird sensation.
Just you'll get used to it.
This is a very weird sensation.
I don't understand how no one has done this before. Like, me? You just on me.
No, I only prepared 2 uses of that spell today. I was thinking
Actually,
we
that's a
might
really
all
good
need
point.
I was thinking we all might need to be able to fly to go fight the large bird, and Mink can change into something that can fly. And you can fly yourself. Odd would stay down here, so I only needed 2 of those spells for myself and for Ólafur. But turns out our bait was good enough to pull in all of the prey.
Whose idea was that?
Mine.
Well done.
Thank you. I think
I
it
was
went rather well.
Technically, under that assumption, the 6 chimpanzees that died would be.
Oh, Corvus is. I was thinking that too. Actually, they do fall with his.
I
They
did
killed them,
bait them into the trap though.
but they're his trap.
Sure.
A group decision there. That is not for
Okay,
me
well,
to decide. That just
How about this?
Yeah, he died.
The things
By
that
Corvus.
killed them, right, were using my disable device check
Mm-hmm.
That's true, yeah.
and my
Yes, I think it's
skills to
Corvus.
kill them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It was my
what's the
diplomacy
count?
check that brought them there though.
So what's the count? What's the count?
I believe that puts me to 43.
What?
Because I was at
34?
37, so I'm at 43.
And I think I have 34.
Yes. So I'm winning by 9. Well, I'd say
How
this
much
was
damage did I do to that bird, by the way?
Dude, that's insane what you did.
give me a second.
I think it was close to 4. I think it was close to 400.
Yeah.
It was 326 total.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, if it hadn't had its force shield up, you definitely would have one-shotted it.
I think you would have one-shotted it halfway through your attacks.
Okay, up to you guys what you would like to do next. You have, to the best of your knowledge, successfully killed the remaining cyborg.
Well, I feel good now. Loose ends tied up. Enjoy flying for a few more minutes, and then I think we should make ready to leave.
You guys fly for 7 more minutes. You make your way back to Odd, who has, while you guys have been gone, has fully packed up the carts and has taken the time, because you did take really minimal damage in the fight, because you guys only really did damage to yourselves.
Oh, Oh,
So
Spy traps are
she's
super
not-
effective.
She's
I
not
should
too.
have thought that through so much more.
Law of unintended consequences.
Yeah.
But she's hooked up Lefty and Reginald in their correct positions, of course.
Yep.
I will give them both little chin scratches as I'm hovering. They're so cute.
My sword has shrunk back to its normal large size.
Really need to name that thing. How long does it take to earn the name?
It depends.
On.
It must achieve something for naming it for.
I mean, you just killed a raptor. That's a pretty good achievement, right? You can count that.
The bird would have been a better achievement.
You almost killed the bird. You...
Almost killing a bird is not enough of an achievement for a name. I'm not going to name my sword Almost Killed the
Raptors.
Bird.
Raptor sword. Raptor slayer.
Almost
raptor,
bird killer.
One
Half bird
raptor
killer.
She's like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, here's a thought. A new name for your sword. One bird, two stones.
There
Ooh.
were no stones involved.
Two fish, one hand.
It's a. Never mind. Never mind.
Mick is going to use his metamorph ability to turn himself into his completely hairless human form, because all humans look the same to him, and he doesn't understand hair.
Oh my goodness.
So he's literally completely hairless, the most generic, nondescript human you've ever seen. Like, to the point where, like, even, like, complexion and ethnicity is, like, completely, like, kind of, like, ambiguous. Like...
It's like One Punch Man, the cartoon.
Perfect.
Not
It's like, what is
similar.
I'm never gonna be able to get that image out of my head now.
No, not at all.
I mean,
Not
being in this form does increase his strength by a +2. So he's technically stronger as a human than he is as an unmetamorphed Trox.
wow.
Oh my gosh.
Can he turn into anything that he sees, or it's more just like
Currently, he can turn himself into any humanoid or monstrous humanoid that he has seen that is large to tiny size. Eventually, if he gets enough levels, he'll be able to turn into any giant he sees. And I believe that is the last, because it upgrades from alters. His metamorph ability is basically wild shape, except for it functions like alter self, and then it functions like monstrous physique, and then it functions like giant.
Nice.
I'm just wondering if he can turn into like one of us. Like, could he look just like us, or it's just similar?
Technically, like rules as written, he for sure could turn and look exactly like any of you guys. Purely because that's less fun to me. It is. It's something he could do. He just fully doesn't like recognize that it is something that he could do.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Plus, Ink the human is like his like go-to form. He's like comfortable in it as a human.
Yeah. Well, let's get underway. Thank you, Odd, for packing up.
Yeah, thanks, Odd.
Made getting out of here faster, didn't it?
Your false floors worked to perfection. So, also, thank you for that.
She pats you on your cheek. Of course, dearie. And she'll proceed to walk, like pull herself with Ink's help up into the carriage. She'll pull her armchair out of her bag of holding and start knitting.
Ólafur's
Alright,
kind of in
I
the
am
midst of
hopping.
like tying a loose bandage around his leg. He's just gonna mutter to himself as he looks to regarding the false floors.
I'm pretty sure
yeah,
your hole is healed up.
Oh, and is it fully
heal
healed?
up
Okay.
until you get to -5 hit points,
Well,
and then
okay.
anything past that is up to you.
I think it would be 4 or less, right? Missing hit points.
More or less. So if you have 5 hit points, so if you have a perfect multiple of 5, you are at full hit points.
I have a
Otherwise,
perfect multiple of 5, so
then you're
gotta
at
get
full
to
hit
full.
points because you'll hit a minus. It'll go up by 5 each round until you hit
Okay.
5, and then you'll do one last round of 5 hit points.
Nice.
Hop off.
okay.
Makani is gonna fly next to the wagon, next to Corvus's seat, flying the whole time. Trying to talk to the sword without touching it.
Talk to my sword or
Yes, your sword,
Oh.
and just every now and then, garbled gargoyle. Parent.
just, patiently, ever so patiently. Makani, I've told you many, many times. The sword can't hear you unless you're touching it.
Absolutely certain.
100%. Here, I'm just gonna scabbard and all just hand the sword to Makani.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Could you hear me before? I'm gonna let go of you. Can you hear me?
Makani, you
Grab it.
go get my. Actually,
hear
my
me when
reflexes
I-
are so. I probably would be able to catch it.
Yeah, you would. I mean, I wouldn't have dropped it on the ground. Like, it would have been. Sorry. Now I have. You. I just drop it as I'm floating. Do you hear me when I let go of you? Since we're both holding onto it.
No, I cannot. No.
What is your name?
I am the Sword of Darkness, the inevitable blade, end of the universe.
She lets go. Yeah, the usual rant.
I don't know why you keep asking it, Makani. Savla is going to give you the same answer every time.
And I'm off. Enjoy the wrap up.
Same questions as before when we were talking traveling. Are you planning on being stealthy on any portions of this trip? Are you planning on rushing? Are you planning on doing a pace?
I don't think that there's a call for stealth, and I don't think we need to rush.
I can scout ahead if you'd like.
Actually, Jessica just left, but I'll ask Makani. Makani, could you see if you can go up above and find us maybe where the jungle is not as thick?
Yeah. So she'll fly up. I'm going to have you make me your choice of survival or perception.
Okay. Let me... reopen your sheet real quick. Ooh, we're gonna go perception. A natural 19. 28.
All right. Yeah. Making your way through, she finds you a fairly. It's probably not a dissimilar angle and path through the forest that you had before when you were first entering. You are like right on the outskirts of the river basin and the forest, so you're gonna get out onto plains pretty quick, or at least less wooded would be more more accurate. So I'm going to call that your perception check for the first half of the first day, where it is fairly uneventful. Pretty well cleared this area out. You in that first half of the day, because you have a better picture and better maps of where you're going, you do manage to get out of the forest in that first half a day. Your choice if you want to keep Makani as your scout, if you want to have someone else roll perception checks, or if you just want to drive the distance and not check for anything, we can just do that as well.
I mean, Ólafur, if you're wanting to scout, you can feel free. Makani usually scouts because she can fly. That's a huge advantage, but...
If Makani comes out, I will accept scout.
Okay. So I guess Makani will continue.
I just move fast, which is why I was asking.
Oh, well, duly noted. So another perception check for her?
Yes, please.
15, that's a 24.
24. All right. You guys get out. She finds you a path. There is, because the forest is like a main source of like people do come into the forest from the village you're looking to go to. It is like close enough to the path. There's a path. And it's more of like a walking path, but it's like on level on the ground that you can follow with the wagon. Up high enough, Makani does see a fortification beginning to go up back from the direction of the Fox army that you saw. It looks like they are beginning to set up wooden palisades, and they've like have a logging excursion, like dragging wood from the forest to set up a wooden.
Are we gonna pass by like near them, or is this something she sees in the distance?
It's something she sees in the distance. You're close enough because you were close before, but it is you are going in a different direction.
Okay.
You make your way to a place where you feel like you can stop for the night. Again, your call. You can continue on that last half of a day into the to the village, or you can stay up for the night. You are out on the plains, so you are going to be more exposed, but you also have no reason to suspect danger.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, we are out on a mission. Best practice is to keep a watch.
Mm-hmm.
Although we are going to have to think about tomorrow, getting into town, how to disguise these foxes.
Are foxes not normal?
Are giant foxes normal where you come from?
I mean, not much is normal where I come from.
Have you seen giant foxes before?
We have foxes. Not of that size, but I have seen foxes.
You have seen a giant squirrel whose favorite pastime is passing rumors and talking shit.
I have seen giant squirrel. Quite the gossip.
Regardless, giant foxes pulling a carriage would draw a great deal of attention to us in the village. And unfortunately...
Just paint them black, make them look like giant wolves. That's more normal, right?
That would be much more alarming, actually.
Well, I would think that would be just normal.
There is a brief moment of like pure pained realization as my ink goes. Corvus Renard. Does that mean we have to let Reginald and Lefty go before we go into the village?
No, I think...
We'll just get two big white sheets and drape them over them, and then the cart is being pulled by two ghosts.
I think I have some solution. I'll have to test this. I'm not one for illusions, like many of my kin. But I will, since this will be a new day on the next day, I'll re-prepare spells. I will also use the 5 remaining uses of Shocking Grasp that I have today to
fill back up your spell storages.
Yep, pretty much. And I
Deal.
think those 5 actually just fill 1 Pearl of Power, and then I have my bracers that are still empty.
Yep.
So I have 3 Pearls of Power filled entirely to the brim with Shocking Grasp.
Absolutely.
Then, on the next day, I would like to attempt to use Minor Image to disguise these foxes as horses.
Well, let's see. Minor
This is a
image.
visual figment that cannot extend beyond 12 10-foot cubes. Functions like silent image except minor image includes some minor sounds, but no disbelief.
And it's concentration plus 2 rounds, so I can literally, just as long as I'm concentrating on it, I can
Have a go. Okay, and you can move the image. Okay. Yeah. Roll me. I guess that's okay. Yeah, you're gonna have to because they are static images that you're superimposing over the foxes. So you are going to have to focus to get it to line up, like the moving of the feet and that kind of stuff to line up.
Yeah.
So for now, not a big deal. Getting in, I'm going to have you make me a flat spellcraft check going in to the village, just because it won't break your concentration. Because if you don't focus on it, it just doesn't happen. But it is going to require a little finagling on your to make it look realistic.
24.
24. Okay. Noted. All right. You sleep through the night. No worries for doing guard. You make your way for the rest of the day to the village. I'll roll perception.
As we draw close, I will turn into human form.
Okay. Maink is already in human form because he physically cannot fit on the carriage in his form.
And I think Makani is going to do her best statue impression in the back of the carriage.
All right.
I'll just walk alongside the carriage.
You make your way into the village. The village is pretty small. It's basically just houses and huts. And at the far outskirts of this village is this rickety, probably 100-foot tall, watchtower, for lack of a better word. It's like a spiral staircase around. It's built not dissimilar to a fire watch building that we have in the States, where those big 4-pillar buildings, but it has no top. It's just a platform up top, and it juts out farther at one end than it does at another. Could you guys make me perception checks, just general perception checks?
28.
27 for me, and 14 for Makani.
Okay, so prominent features of this village, it does appear to have a central marketplace. It's fairly nice and well put together. It looks like maybe this is a market hub for the area. This is also completely landlocked.
Oh.
Well,
You said there was a ship departing here?
Yes, perhaps it's one of those newfangled airships.
What is an airship?
I think you'll see.
Coming into the village, there are a mix of like people, but mostly they're staying out of your way. There is a, for lack of a better word, a booth with the only Caucasian person in the entire village, in like just the most disheveled sailors like a uniform, like a navy uniform you've ever seen. Like half drunkenly walks over to you guys as you come in, and like leans up against you because you all, for lack of a better word, look Caucasian. I mean Norse. I'm assuming you're doing the standard like Frenchman.
French American, yeah.
French American look for Corvus's alternative form, and Ink is who fucking knows right now.
Whatever. Makani's
yeah.
a statue.
Human.
One Punch Man.
Yeah.
And he walks over you and slightly slurred, but not very slurred, faint Irish brogue that's like just like barely passes through. It's like, y'all lost, or you looking for something in particular in this village?
We're looking for the Grand Jubilee. Do you know when it will... It's due to set in or depart here within the week, if I'm not mistaken.
And you watch as he pulls from like a messenger satchel a logbook, and he flips through it. And he thinks for a second. He watches. He flips over to a calendar and he like nods his head. She'll be in the next week. She'll be dropping off a few hunters, a few other tourists and gentlemen adventurers, and then she'll be on her way back. She'll probably be here in a few days or so. She'll leave in the end of the week.
Do you know where her next stop will be?
I don't keep track of that. I know when she'll be here.
Very well. Thank you for your help, Mr.
Oh. Call me Boyd.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Boyd.
If you want some place to stay, he points at the only European-style building in the entire village. It looks like a inn, like a English inn. It's definitely a hunter's club.
Yeah.
Lodgings that way. He points at stables next to it. Stable your horses over there. That's a fucking big statue.
Yeah, a good find.
Oh! Treasure hunters. Gotcha.
Well, we prefer archaeologists. We're going to bring it back to the British Museum.
I met a couple people who did that. My uncle found a mummy one.
I've heard there's good money in mummies. What did you say?
Tasted like shit. Too chalky.
I can imagine. Probably fairly gamey.
It's gonna walk away. I would like to point out the thing that still bugs me to no end is the reason is that we have like a very limited supply of mummies is because the Victorian English ate them all. It's still like just the worst fun fact.
Gosh.
What?
Fully, when like archaeology was real big in Egypt in the Victorian era. It was super common for people to eat mummies for their magical healing property.
Oh yeah.
Which is also the idea of like the mummy disease comes from. Because shockingly, you eat a mummified human corpse, you get fucking sick.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, no, if a body survived that long, surely there's some magic keeping it, like, preserved that will in turn preserve you, right?
Yeah.
Gross.
So, fun history fact.
Oh,
I had purged that from my mind.
I did not know that, and now I do, and now I...
Sure. If you want to add on to insane history facts that will just live with you forever, in the 1980s, Saddam Hussein got the key to the city of Detroit because he donated so much money to a...
Oh!
That's ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Incredible.
I think it's best if we this is to the group here. I think it's best if we I feel uncomfortable having Lefty and Reginald in the town. I won't be able to maintain this spell continually to keep them disguised. So I think it's best if they stay outside of town while we wait here, like in a placating gesture to make.
We could also just stay outside of the town.
We could, but there might be useful information to be gathered. And truth be told, I do miss sleeping in a bed. However pestilential it might be. I suppose we can set up camp outside of town, and then if we feel the need to journey in to the inn, then we can do that at our leisure.
Sounds good.
Okay. And if you're amenable to it, Justin, I think that's a good place to end because I need to
it's
sleep.
probably a good natural spot for us to stop, yeah.
Alright. Sweet. Cool session. You had your first combat, which you were completely... I'm a little concerned now, seeing how
Justin,
much damage you can do. I'm a little concerned that...
Here's my defense. Justin said that you guys were kind of insane in, like, the efficacy of your characters. And basically to make sure that, like, I could at least hold my own in combat. So I kind of went balls to the wall a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in a turn, Makani
This is the most complex build I've ever created.
Yeah.
It has more moving parts than anything I've ever built before.
Yeah, I mean, you were moving around, I can see that. I think on a good turn, Makani can, like, build up to guaranteeing dealing 84 points of damage to whatever she hits with one attack.
Yeah.
And usually if I can land a shocking grasp that's criticaling, then it's going to be 2d6 plus 12 plus 10d6. So 12d6 plus 12. Oh, sorry, 12d6 plus 24 points of damage on a critical hit. But then I also have, I can also put shocking burst and stuff on my sword, and I can make full attack actions and do ridiculous stuff too. But not quite to the point of doing 320 some odd damage in one turn. I've only had one character do that. That was a special circumstance.
Yeah. So I wasn't even fully buffed for that fight. I would have needed 2 more turns.
Yeah,
To get
I'm not gonna
fully
lie.
buffed.
Seeing your character in action and then hearing Jacob talk about what his character is capable of, I'm. Did I said Jacob?
Yeah.
I thought for a moment I said Jared. I'm a little concerned that now we're gonna be left in the dust because Justin's gonna have
I
to throw
apologize.
things with like unbelievable amounts of hit points, and then we're just gonna be like, oh no, we can only do like we can only average like 50 points of damage a turn, but you guys are dealing like what Jacob was saying, 18,000.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like what I can do, fully buffed, I can hit an average damage, factoring in miss and crit chance, of 416 damage per turn for 10 rounds consecutively.
So, on average, 4,160 points of damage over 10 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's that's hitting above our weight for sure. Well,
I'll just
I
have to
apologize for this
that are more
monstrosity.
interesting than just stacks of hit points.
there you go. You just do that.
Yeah. Yep.
Or you'll just have to pinpoint their, pinpoint vulnerabilities for everybody.
Yep.
Crappy if someone has a
Without
crappy
mine, it's
save
called pit
or
traps.
Oh, yeah. Hey, foxes are cunning. All right. Well, you guys have a good night. This was super fun.
Oh yeah,
I
this
need
is
to
great.
remember to